is Julia Bicycles.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, where do I sit?
Oh, yeah.
So this is pictures.
Are you moving or just changing your sign?
We're just changing the sign. We had an awning that it was getting old and it was kind of like in the front of the store.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
nobody actually saw the sign that we had, so unless you were coming out of the building across the street. So now we intend to put this, have this sign like this, which, you know, when you go, you can see it from either side.
Yeah.
It's the same size than the one that we had before.
Oh, you're gonna put a
So
shingle.
you're gonna
It's a
put
plate
it out?
sign.
It's
gonna be a
it's
blade
going this
sign.
way, like the old school signs, you know, with
Yeah,
the pole
a
and the hanging,
shingle,
so
yeah.
it looks very colonial, it looks pretty
So
cool.
before your sign was just on the awning?
It was no, right, in the
Just on
front
the-
of the awning, there
Yeah.
was letters that it said
Yeah,
Julia
yeah,
Bicycles,
yeah.
that's all. And I think there's,
What's
there you go,
this?
that's the awning, that's the old awning and it's down already.
Oh, it's down to
That's what you
Is
see.
this the sign? Did you
That
make it
is
already?
the sign, yes. It's
made
already
already?
done.
Oh, so we hope you approve it.
Well, I was hoping that you guys will approve. We did it ourselves.
Is the front
did it
back the
yourself?
same?
Well,
You went-
not the lettering. We have
Oh.
a friend who's he can vinyl cut, you know, these
Oh, I see, okay.
So front
letters.
and back the same?
Front and back, it's exactly the same.
So what's it made out of?
It's PVC actually.
It's got
So you
striation.
It looks like
didn't
wood.
have a
It
hanging
does, but
sign
it's
before?
plastic, but it's striation.
Oh, maybe
No, there
that's
was
more
nothing
than this.
hanging this way before. There was just an awning. Yeah.
Is the
Did you put
block,
this on wood? Is that wood or is it?
is
No,
both
that is
pieces?
what's behind it. That's just our shelves. The sign is inside of the
No, no,
store,
no,
and
no,
it's
You've got the hooks on the big,
No, the big black
big
thing, the
black
big-
background.
Right,
then
yes.
You've got the sign on it.
correct.
That's
Is the big
PVC?
square PVC or wood?
It's a frame of PVC or 3/4 by 3, I think it is. And then has two sides to
It
it.
looks like it's about this thick.
No,
To a
this square piece,
three-quarter-
the
The
one,
board,
the
yeah.
eye hooks are into wood?
No, that is actually PVC.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 3/4
Okay,
pine,
with the
but
wood
instead of
grain, with the thick wood grain.
exactly, and then
Okay.
it has two
Oh, okay.
sides of.
So it has some
vinyl.
dimension, but the letters are flat on that.
The letters are flat on the side.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the pole made of? What's the finish? Is it black?
Black paint.
Is it gonna be black?
It is black. Yes.
I see your hooks are stainless steel. Are they gonna be black or?
No, I can paint them if you want it black. No, we intended to
No,
leave it like that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
wondering,
fine.
I was just wondering if this was,
What size is this?
It's 32
It
by
looks so
32.
heavy.
No, it's actually very light.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
Very
hollow,
good.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
hollow.
yeah.
It's just a frame, and then it's got the two sides to it.
Oh, okay.
And then, you
Okay.
know,
I would just ask that the pole and everything be black,
Well, he did say it's black.
Yeah.
But I don't think the hooks need to be.
No, the paint will
Right,
scratch
I
off.
see.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it looks good.
thank you guys.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Will.
Well,
And is it
W-I-L.
on both
Last name
sides?
Sierra, S-I-E-R-R-A. I'm
It's on
sorry.
both sides.
Both sides,
Okay.
same thing, exactly the same thing.
you the owner?
I am the owner, yeah.
Is there a Julio?
My dad,
Oh,
Is
okay.
that right?
28 years in this town. I
I'm
was,
Ron Cypher's wife, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I'm Ron Cypher's wife.
Oh.
You know Ron.
That's right.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I was half of my age when
Loves
we opened the
these
store
guys.
with my dad.
I've been there, you've
What?
done my
Oh,
wife's
yeah, yeah,
tires
I've seen
for
you.
full
And I've
disclosure.
seen
Yeah, you bought a couple of
And
my
I've seen you,
kids'
and
bikes.
Long time. How's Ron doing?
He's okay. He's vowed not to ride inside at all this week.
Is he riding inside now or it's out?
No, he's vowed not to. It's set up, but.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that was it.
thank you guys,
Bye.
have a good night.
You too.
So his father's not in the store? Really? So he's been here so long.
The town has a lot of that, actually. People have been, so, families, children come back to their stay.
Yeah.
But that's only been since everything.
15
That's
Jeffrey?
what the sign said.
Okay.
I mean, that's still 30 years ago, but that's what I said.
That's scary, that's what you
I know, it sounds like yesterday.
This house has been here before, right? This house was here before, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
at least twice.
Yeah, okay.
Twice.
Thank you.
Come on down. Come down.
Are you the builders?
No,
You're the
I
owner?
am one of the architects that works
Oh.
with Scott. I'm here on his behalf.
You the homeowner or you the architect also?
Architect, he is my comrade.
The names.
The names of the
Yeah.
client? I'm Nicholas, and this is Christian, K R I S J A N. I'm actually gonna stand. So, my name is Nicholas Renzulli. I'm here on behalf of Scott Herson at Herson Architect and Design. The project that we're presenting today is 15 Jeffries, the Google residence, which is off of Whipple Road. The project is located here. These are the houses we identified that match the Center Hall Colonial of 15 Jeffries.
None of those homes are 15, are they?
So
Second one.
this is
Oh,
all
those
15
are.
Jeffries.
Oh, okay.
This is
I
the
see,
front
sorry.
elevation. This was the work that was done previously on the house. This is one of the neighbors, 11, 8, and 19, which are all located adjacent to the property. All of them are Center Hall colonials. Today, we're going to be discussing the scope of work. So this is the front of the house, there's no changes to it. So I'm actually gonna come back to this page. This is the rear of the home. And this is existing, and this is proposed. So what we are doing is we are building on an existing footprint, in addition to house a laundry room and a bathroom. We are relocating the master bathroom to an existing dressing hall, which is located here. There is a bump out shape on existing, which we're removing, and we are keeping the gable, but we're flattening that out and removing the existing deck, just because it's not in good shape and they don't use it, and they want it removed. It's also not in the budget to rebuild it. So we took sizes of windows that exist on the home. These are 2 new windows, these are 2 new windows too. This is casement window. The house is majority double hung in the nature of Center Hall Colonial, but we are putting casement windows here with the check rail to keep the look of the double hung, but to add more function to the bathroom.
What's happening to the windows on top of the bay window? You didn't draw any grills or anything? What's that?
So this is interesting, because
This is
one
interesting.
side is laundry and one side is a shower for a bathroom. There's a wall that is actually split in the middle. So we went back and forth of how to handle this. And we didn't want a window in the shower, but we did want a window in the laundry room that is aligned with the glass door that brings light into the stair hall. So what we did is we tried to keep the symmetry, and we took some of the paneling down here and we're bringing it up. This is the existing shape. We're keeping the existing bay window, and we are building a reverse gable on top.
And then why'd you get rid of the window next to the gate? Yeah, right there?
These,
What was it?
that is where the bed, where the master bed is going to go. So it's going to go in between these two.
What about down below? It looks like there's smaller windows.
Down below,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
those 2
they're
small
smaller.
windows are smaller than the
They're
ones
shorter.
above.
They're not as long.
Look up to the top of the existing.
right here,
Yeah, they're different size.
those are supposed to be existing. It's marked existing, it's supposed to be existing. That's a graphic.
And what's happening on the roof on the top right, the front roof, there's a white thing popping up. What is that?
This right here,
No, on the right, right there. That white on the roof,
On the lower roof,
lower,
you're
go
saying?
down lower, right there. What's
This?
that?
It's a skylight?
this is an existing skylight,
Okay.
which is over a den room, which we are building on top of, which you can see here.
Okay.
Instead of the panel, would it be better to just extend the siding?
We wanted
Okay.
to keep the symmetry.
Can you put a so the right one is, it would be a window in the shower if that was a window?
Yeah, and we wanted to avoid that.
Could you not
For
frost
mold
it,
and-
or you don't want the window at all?
We could frost it. I've done windows where it looks like a window from the outside and we close it from the inside. We've done that. This house has a pretty tight budget, which is why we're not building the deck again.
Looks really odd,
We felt by,
It's really odd.
looks really weird, yeah.
this is the rear of the house, which cannot be seen from the front. And the client agreed that this solution is the most cost effective.
I think it looks odd, I don't know about you guys, but.
Well, that's what I was saying, I'd rather see siding.
And just
And-
keep
and
the
an offset
window.
window.
And then have a
Well,
different kind of a
also
window,
would-
I don't
maybe,
know.
maybe put a oval window, something offset, I don't know,
And
something,
this
but
window can be maybe different size, 'cause they have-
looks like a patch on the eye or something.
So there's a countertop here.
No, I know,
Because it's probably
And it
gonna
can't
be
go down that
trim
low.
color too.
but this one
Right,
is,
Right,
is this one, what's the sill of
I
this
think
one?
it's very nice to have a window in
The
the
sill height?
shower, I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
I believe it's
In case we
3
crack it open
feet.
an inch,
Even if it's
Steve,
just
Might be
Yeah.
less, might be 30 inches, 2'6".
Or is the visibility so bad that you can't have a window?
Can't have a window.
A window in the shower?
Where is this?
I mean, do the
It's
neighbors
just
see
not.
them?
It's just not a good practice in terms of water and leakage and mold and.
Well, I just.
What's the floor plan look like?
Yeah, the floor plan is here, I'll just pretend to do that.
Yeah.
It's a
Is
master
it this?
there.
So we're talking about right here?
Yes.
What manufacturer are you looking at? for windows?
We're matching existing. It's Anderson.
Do you know what series?
I think it's 400.
400?
Yeah, I don't know, I would suggest that you front that, I think that's.
Does anyone else think it's odd?
Yeah, I think it's odd. I mean, if anything, I would almost suggest either keep the panel in the middle and put a fake window on the right to keep that, or just two windows with siding in between, so at least it's symmetrical. I mean, it's, you know, you go through all this pain to make everything somewhat of a composition, then you have this really odd piece
Offset.
there.
Well, I
It's
think,
really
I
odd.
think Bob's right, I think it's gonna look like it's patchwork. Because it's gonna be the same as that trim color, right? It's not, it's definitely gonna be,
Well, we are putting up paneling, and we're bringing this language up here, so it's not a foreign language.
yeah, I get it.
But it looks like a
I
patch,
understand that, but
patch
it
on the
just,
eye.
yeah.
It's just
I mean,
the
it makes sense to have
You
the
know, I-
paneling underneath, but.
Yeah, I respect your try to help your clients, but I think even you might think that it looks a little bit.
Yeah, there's no other way, like putting the closet here and somehow putting this over there, the sink, I don't know.
I
So
mean,
that
from the floor
accommodate
plan,
facade a little bit better.
it's not as easy to get back here.
This one is a closet, yes?
Right.
This is not a linen closet, so it could belong to the bedroom. Yeah?
It does belong
Right
to the
now it
bedroom.
does.
It does. Here is the entry door.
Entrance.
Mhm.
'Cause these are like.
We did a iteration where we had a window over the sink here, matching this side. It's just it made this so bare. It was like a 5-head or a 4-head.
We are not concerned about this, we're concerned about this.
Right, but I'm bringing up a solution that removes this from this face and allows light
Completely.
to still come into the room.
Gets rid of all the window.
This window plays a big part in the room though, and the feel of the space
All right,
and the
so
stair
you
hall,
enter.
because this is a glass door. So it is bringing light in here.
I must think, if you really don't want a window in the shower, which I would respectfully disagree that they always cause mold and problems, they're kinda nice in most showers, but is to get rid of the center panel and put a window and then just, you know, have a dummy window, but at least it looks like, you know, an appropriate pattern on the outside.
Why were you asking about windows? What were you thinking?
Well, I
What
mean,
were you thinking?
depend, I mean, if it was a really, you know, if it was the 100 series or something, you know, they're cheaper, but you could also go with the 400 series and not do insulating, well, you probably still wanna do insulated glass, but,
For the res check, we have
no,
that,
but I mean,
but
if you
we-
do a dummy window, you could
Uh-huh.
have a insulated wall behind it.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to think if you could cheapen the 400 series somehow, just so that it does seem more palatable to the owner, but I'd rather see two windows than just siding in between or a panel in between. You know, I think it just wrecks the whole composition of the house, and you guys are doing, you know, a good job of creating, you know, patterns and things there, but you just got this oddity going on there, I just can't.
We did a lot.
I'm sure
of
you tried.
iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you tried.
And a lot of the language that we brought in was very foreign, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if the right one was a window and the center was either siding or a panel, it would be fine. I mean, that's really all it takes.
Yeah.
So I think we'd respectfully ask you to rethink that, maybe talk to your client.
would you mind if I drew that on there and just move forward with a window, with a dummy window?
Yeah,
You could do
if you
that.
draw
You
it
could do
in.
that, yeah. if you-
Go out there
are you
and
gonna-
draw it and sign it.
Are you
And then
propose,
just-
what would you put in the middle, a panel or siding?
I think something needs to be there other than siding,
In between the two windows.
in between the two,
Then-
so
then-
I would keep
Keep it a
the
panel.
panel.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm indifferent.
No,
Yeah, I don't
I think
care either
I think it
But
needs
it,
some.
as long as it has the.
I think if the windows were
The
closer
window.
together, where the mullion between was less than 4, I think it would look like a mulled unit. But with this spacing, I don't see. They just seem too far apart and too separate
Okay.
without the
Yeah,
panel there.
we're
That's
fine
fine,
with that.
I could go either way, I'm just asking.
Can you, I just have a question as, what's the function for the casement versus the hung? I'm just wondering, you said that it was for functional reasons.
It's just to
Just
bring.
curious.
It's just to bring in more light. A lot of times a double hung is a lot more bulkier. It's got, you know, the sash has a certain thickness.
Okay, so it was just for light.
Yeah.
But is it gonna match proportionally, it looks like it does here, to match the existing windows that are double hung?
It has the same head height.
Are the frames, is it gonna look very different? Is it gonna look like a thin framed casement versus a thicker framed double hung? Looks, you know, from this distance, it looks the same.
Well, it's lower, I think, because the bathtub is there, but I'm okay with that window being.
And just mark the other windows that are supposed to be existing. The,
These.
yeah.
Yeah, draw those
just
as
draw
the same
them.
size.
Okay.
Yes, if you draw it, and you should get approved today.
Great.
On the garage elevation, is it just a pure removal, or is there any, the one that you said you wanted to go back to?
Oh, sure. Right. So I said I was gonna go back to this just because these drawings show the removal of the deck. So this is the existing plan. Here's the deck. It's removed in the proposed, and then this is the tall addition that we're adding over the existing footprint. So you'll see the bump out here, and then it's removed here.
The gable on the top one with the balcony, is that the master bedroom bump out gable?
This
No, to the right of where you were just pointing,
over here.
because that doesn't match what's below
So that is in a dressing hall
in the master.
in the master suite. Yeah. This house is not ideal the way it's designed. This is the demo plan. Currently, there is no master bath here.
Right.
They use this as the master bath. So they're in here, they come here, and they dress here.
So that gable I'm seeing is here?
Yes,
Demolished, yeah.
Okay, and then you're taking that off.
we're taking that off.
And then I'm seeing this beyond on the proposed.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Further.
We think it cleaned up the house more as well.
Okay, so I think if you,
Just
again,
have-
fix those windows, draw in the other, and make sure that you're good.
Great. Thank you.
On these two sets, and then
Yes.
just bring it back.
I will. Should we wait to come back when everyone's done, or?
As soon as the next one is done, you can come in.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So what is he gonna do to that? Is he leaving the center panel and doing the windows?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna add a window to the right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a function.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that they're very long.
This NWH?
Northern Westchester Hospital.
Oh,
That's the medical office, that moving into the,
I think they're already there, I'm not sure.
is the sign up yet?
I don't think so. The sign's not up, right? Hi, how are you?
Hi.
You look familiar with the development?
Chappaqua
yeah,
Yes.
Chappaqua
Yeah.
Crossing.
I didn't know if there was a
Hi.
tenant coming in.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that's been a while.
So, my name is David Ball. I was the architect for Chappaqua Crossing. This is the signage for Northwell Health Center for Healthy Living. And I went through, I'm representing the owner and also Northwell Health. I drew the short straw. But anyways, I did review this, the original application. And this after, I don't know, today sometime, so this is, I believe, what you're looking at, right? In smaller version, and I reviewed it compared to the standards, which I was involved with writing, so I'll hand out a few of these,
So
which
this is a revised plan?
it is a revised plan.
So let me get
That was
those
the
back.
back. Just reaching to look at that.
By the way, we ran out of 11 by 17 paper, so if you see something on the back, that's recycled paper, which
All right.
you save some trees.
What kind of facility are they bringing in? What is it?
So so Northwell Health is a very large healthcare provider. They have hospitals and outpatient programs and things like that, including in the Chappaqua Crossing office building. And the idea of this is a relatively small space, and it's really to sit down with people and just talk about health. And they have a small kitchen that they will show you how to cook healthy meals, and that's so it's really not a healthcare, it's not a medical office use, it's really more of a consulting with people and talking about healthy lifestyles. So it's sort of an interesting twist on healthcare. And, the, when I went through the standards with the folks, basically so the lettering is above the main entry door. And again, it's a fairly small, I don't know, it's about 2,500 square feet. It's in between Whole Foods and Fidelity, right? Yeah. And, fairly narrow space. So this door and the two windows are the limits of their storefront. The letters they're proposing as the main sign are just surface mounted cut plastic letters, so they're painted vinyl or some sort of plastic. And they're about a half-inch thick, and they will be attached, they have no internal lighting, so they will be attached with like little pins to the siding of the building. So the outline, what's allowed in the standards, which I was involved with several of you folks developing the standards, but allows for up to 2 feet high of letters. There's no language about how wide they can be, and the height for these letters total is 15 inches. So they comply with that requirement. Secondly, what they're doing is they're using external lights, gooseneck lights, to light the signage, which is allowed in the standards. And beyond that, they have this is just a picture of the gooseneck lights. These would be white, kind of quiet lights. And then beyond that, what's for signage on windows, in the standards it says you can't be any more than 15% of the glass area that it's on. And so I had them just do a calculation to make sure that was in compliance, and it is. So fairly straightforward,
How high is the sign from the grade,
from the,
well, from the, from the grade.
from the ground.
I feel like no one's gonna see
How
it.
high is it?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be almost, invisible.
Yeah, it
Plus,
feels,
it's also,
it feels like
it
you
looks a
can't
little bit like a letterhead because it's not centered. Like
can
when
you
you.
not put,
Well, some of these
Signage on
elevations look
canopies?
too literal, your eye doesn't really, it looks
Can
like the
you
lights
not
block
put-
it, but I don't think that'll happen in
But
real life.
no, I'm not talking,
The flat elevation.
Yeah, they would be
but it's
visible.
high.
It's, yeah, the,
you
so the
know?
doors are 7 feet high,
Plus
so
we
the
have-
sign might be 12 feet off the ground, something like that.
This is 7 and another.
I just feel like no one's gonna see it at a distance, it's so small, I don't understand that.
That's why you
Normally,
have the awning.
people say the signs are too tall.
No, I know, but I'm
Whole Foods is
really,
oversized, right?
what?
No,
Well,
it's
the Whole
actually,
Foods
Yeah,
we
Whole Foods
shrunk
is
down,
big,
remember,
too.
we shrunk it down,
Any
yeah.
context, some other ones that we don't
I
have
don't,
anything,
I don't.
so that we can actually compare
Well, we can probably
a little
Google
bit,
the
I mean,
center.
because there is no,
I,
What?
it looks, it's not even that
You
it
can
looks
have letters
small,
on
it
the
looks misplaced, it's not a question of small. Plus, I think I said like a letterhead just because it's,
Justified
That's
motion.
just
Justified.
to the left rather than being sent,
No, it's like a
But
business
that's
card
probably
with
their
their
logo.
logo, yeah, I mean, it's probably the format of,
well,
I think
it's
the
a
biggest
sign.
shame is, are they taking these 3 bays? And you're
Yes.
gonna cover up the storefronts, right, because it's a medical
I'm just
facility,
thinking
so there's
how-
nothing to
how
look
No,
at.
no,
else
no,
would
it's
you
open.
put it?
No, can you see through this?
Yes,
Oh, you can, alright, it
it's
looks,
an
so it looks
open
like,
when you enter the space, it's a lobby,
no, when you're standing outside, can you see through this glass, or is this
Yes.
glass covered? You can, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if there could be another.
Sometimes medical stuff, they intentionally cover up the
No,
windows.
no, it's as you enter the space, it's an open lobby and they have brochures and,
But you'll be able to see through from the
Yeah.
street to the lobby.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're right there?
no.
No, that's Whole Foods, so
Yeah, I know.
Go a little bit further.
you're, no, cause this
Yes,
is.
that, we're in between, no, it's to the left of the first gable,
Right here, that
Correct.
little,
yep.
Who came up with the graphic?
Who's that, Google it?
I mean, was there a graphic artist that actually,
it's their
Decide.
logo.
Yeah, there's a
Or-
signage company, but it's also, this
hospital.
is, Northwell Health has a whole
It's like the
graphics
business card.
program.
No,
yeah,
but they have
but
different
but the sign
signs.
company just
And
took
if you look
their,
at someone's business card, I'm sure it's
looks like
exactly
they
the
just
same.
took it. I mean, I think it's, for somebody in the parking lot, it's just too small to read and it just doesn't feel
I don't
like
see
they're
the
really
point.
trying.
And the hospital doesn't have that type of.
In most cases, this is, I believe, by appointment, so it's not, I don't think it's the same thing as a normal retail sign that you're trying to
People going, no,
draw
they're going there.
customers,
Yeah, it won't be an impulse purchase. You know,
And
it's-
you couldn't put it over here. Because
That,
of the-
it actually would not be allowed per the
The
standards.
standards he wrote.
Where?
Well-
Put it where?
Put it underneath the canopy. So that has some.
Well, you can put it on the canopy.
Or on the canopy,
But the colors
that's
are, the
limited,
colors
actually.
with the, you'd have to make it all white. But,
No, the canopies, you're only allowed, I forget the number, but like 8 inches
Oh.
of vertical sign of the cloth coming down.
Sure, it's not a retail store, anybody comes here is gonna be sent there, and,
But they will be
Right.
looking for it, the first time. No, I'm just, I don't know.
but they'll probably be told it's in between X and Y is what'll happen.
It's,
No,
this is
they'll say
actually,
next to.
I'm
they
just
have a
wondering.
sign, they have an entry door at the office building.
and-
And it's, the signage I would say is relatively similar to the, and I don't know, people
Oh,
find
so
it.
see,
Right,
Yeah, on the other
Their
hand, when we
logo's
want a
a little
hospital,
different.
and I'm just playing devil's
They
advocate,
have-
when we
I-
want a hospital,
I have
they
a
have
book
big
this
bright
thick.
signage.
We did a
Their-
medical
their-
office
yeah,
thing
their-
in
their
the
stamp
central
style.
office building, and they have
it
a
just-
book this
it-
thick
it
of
looks
all kinds of
misplaced. It
graphic
looks like
standards
Uh-huh.
and things like that, so
above,
they're kind of a,
What is it, what's the
So
signage
the-
of the neighbors?
this,
in the
Yeah,
con-
that's what the thing is, that we don't.
this
have-
color
we
block
don't
doesn't need
see
to be above it?
We don't have the context. Or
that,
at least
if you're talking about
centered it
the
also.
triangles with the various
Mhm.
colors, they
Just
seem
right.
to, that
They
seems
can
to
go.
be a
Business
very
card,
common
sure it
feature
is.
in their signage.
No, I know, but
Doesn't
right
have a
here,
business card stack on the hospital building.
it's above,
They have a business.
Oh, I see.
it's not
Yeah, see, she's gonna-
aligned. This is okay?
That's okay by them, yeah. Northwell Health to get anything approved can be a challenge, so I'm sure they've vetted
Because
this.
they're nesting the N into
Right.
that.
Right.
In this case, I'd say you don't really have the room to do that. It would start pushing you into the top of the canopy.
So maybe it would look better scented then if it's not trying to literally match something that's,
That's not,
I mean,
the only thing that's, this is their logo. It's not centered.
well, I was saying,
That's their.
Claudia felt it was, since it
But
was left
that's their,
justified.
but that's their logo. I wouldn't,
Well, you just,
no,
Show some
the only
emphasis.
thing is, no,
This gable is this one.
those two, these two lines are justified.
and what's the signage left and right, you know, the context?
This, to the left.
Which building is this?
That's Whole Foods.
And
This
this
is
one,
Whole Foods,
if
and
you
where's
don't-
the big sign up here?
The sign's kind of down a bit.
But why don't they do that
What's that?
That was the one.
without the Center for
It's not
Healthy
the one I
Living?
saw before.
Cause you can't see much anyway, so at least have the brand, if you will,
I-
visible.
I think it's important that they do say Center for Healthy Living.
Okay. Well, they say it down here,
Right.
because the way this is formatted with the hospital on the line below, you can go bigger.
Well, if you move, what did you call it, the color?
Yeah, the colored block, it's
Block.
called the logo, well, then that would go up.
Then it would make the sign taller, so it will be on the, well, 15 inches you've got.
So what do you wanna do, you wanna
9 inches to
drop
work
this
with.
and
Well, I
widen it,
was
is
just
that what you wanna
gonna
do?
do this, get rid of the Center for Healthy Living.
Well,
You
right,
can't
so-
see it anyway,
But is that the
Well,
idea,
I
because you
guess
wanna
it's-
widen the lettering and?
just make it a little bit more visible,
You can just take it.
but.
I mean,
So if you had the color logo up a little higher and you drop Northern Westchester Hospital, you could spread it and let it got
Well, you
bigger?
don't even have to bring the, if they're saying it's okay not to have that up,
Half inch.
if they brought that down, take that off, and brought this down, so the hospital's down on another line. They have it different ways, which I understand, it's for different usages.
That's
Oh, that's
just
good.
reused paper.
Yep, yep.
We're just saying, you can
Very
barely
smart.
see it,
Is it PVC,
So
what
it
kind of
feels like
material
it's
is
a
it?
waste.
PVC or what is the material?
Yeah, it's painted acrylic, so it's about a half inch thick.
I don't violently object, I almost feel like I agree that it's not gonna be very visible, on
You
the other
can't
hand,
put-
it's not a retail store.
you can't put them here also,
I guess,
cause is that,
I don't,
Well, but at least you could see through, so it's not gonna be dead.
Right, I wouldn't like it if these were dead, and I've
Yeah.
gotten into these myself where medical offices, you end up
Painting
covering
them out,
them and
yeah.
it really kills the streetscape.
No, actually, there is a lobby very much meant to be a public space and
That's
visible,
important, yeah.
and actually, you know, they have like a TV graphic thing on the wall pretty far into the space, so it's meant to be welcoming, and, you know, they've got kiosks and information about health and things like that, so that is a very public space and very open. They will not put shades on that.
Okay, okay.
Did you say the gooseneck lamps themselves are gonna be white, sort of as they're showing up
Yeah.
here, or?
That's the intent, I mean, I don't object if, you know, if you prefer like a galvanized or whatever, but I think for the style of architecture, it's not really
Yeah.
meant to feel old, it's really meant to just be quiet.
And given they have these lamps right on either side of the door, this is registering like a bit too much contrast on it. It seems like they should match the finish on the other lamps.
That's fine.
Lanterns, yeah.
Yeah,
So if you,
lamp-
if you think, I
Are those
believe
black
these are
or-
basically black.
black, yeah, or a dark
So
black.
if we made the goosenecks black, that's fine.
Yeah, just matching whatever's on
That's fair. I think the white had to do with it being on the cornice and just trying to make them disappear, but, you know, black would not be objectionable.
Okay.
okay. So you could just put it
Okay.
on two sets, this one and this one, and then I'll keep these two in my file. Just
Okay, so I'll just
make
write,
a change, yeah? And
actually,
just
who's got the
initial it.
ones without the
Oh, these?
leftover
one.
paper?
I think
behind?
so.
Oh, that is
I think
left over. This is from the door, that's the last one.
that one is.
Alright, so black goosenecks.
I don't even know what's my name, I don't think I like that.
This is right, that's for you.
If you need just initial, sir. Thank you.
And so you need the one?
I need two.
You did, you saw something.
I've seen a bunch of things over the years, I don't know if it's new or.
It's fine.
Dermatology or anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, happy holiday.
Thanks.
Well, so next one is,
Is he coming
So
back
the
in?
guy with the window
oh
come
yes,
back?
the
Yeah.
window. Yeah, sorry.
You guys ready to come back in or? Yep.
Matthews Country Club is now coming in, so maybe you're welcome.
Oh, they're not?
Oh,
Hi,
hi.
are you from the country?
Monkeys Country Club.
Okay. And you have plans
They let
for-
me in. Adriana said that you had a
Yeah.
set.
Okay.
I brought something, but just to,
Hi, the architect or?
yes. Architect for a dome.
You've been here before.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, so it's a for the Monkey Country Club. It's they have 5 tennis courts, and they want to cover 2 of them with a temporary dome
bubble?
structure. Yeah.
Permanent temporary or temporary temporary?
Sorry, temporary. It's a temporary 6 months of the year.
Oh, so it's permanent
I
temporary.
thought bubbles weren't allowed.
Or temporary, temporary.
It's
Oh,
before the,
but I
it's
see
before
what
the
you're
zoning
saying.
It's
board.
gonna be here every
Every
6
winter,
months of the
yeah,
year,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it's
No,
gonna
like
be.
a
So this
Sure.
is coming in as a referral.
Yeah, so in front of the zoning board, we're going in front of the planning board, and then your board is part of
The
the
issue is always the light.
process. The,
It's not necessarily the structure, it's the light that comes out of the bubble.
actually, the fabric is solid,
Oh, okay.
so nothing comes out. There is a light strip at the very top of the dome, which is a translucent panel. I mean, you can sort of see the light through it, but it's only at the top, so nothing emanates up. And the light inside the dome are downward, so nothing is really.
And how visible is it from the community? Have you been forced to go around and do
About 50 pictures all the way around.
how many houses are gonna see it?
3 houses will see it, and Crabtree Hill House. So there was one that's right on Bedford Road, right on the corner, that's kind of looking across the fairways, but there's 3 rows of vegetation on their property, right on the edge, right in the middle between the fairways, and then up the hill where the dome, I think it's the last dome.
3 rows of vegetation.
Sorry?
3 rows of vegetation.
3 rows of, basically 3 areas of, I can point it out on the.
Of the 3
But in the
home-
winter, will the vegetation?
are the
Well, I
three-
was actually waiting until November to take pictures to show the board how much the leafless vegetation is gonna be able to screen the dome.
Have the 3 homeowners been notified? Are they aware of what's
All of
going
them, one is actually sent a letter of support, and one was at the planning
must
zoning
remember.
board meeting twice. They voiced their concerns and we addressed them with, first of all, studying the view shed, proposing a additional vegetation screening, and also sound attenuation around the equipment.
Oh, the blowers,
Yeah.
So which tennis court?
So this is the existing site plan. There's 4 here, 2 and 2, and then 1 over here. So this one, this pair is gonna get covered with the dome,
So where's 117?
right here.
So I'm sorry, so there's only one dome?
One dome for 2 courts. It's 120 by 120, or 118 by 118.
Where are the houses?
The houses are here, so it's about 700 feet this way. And there are 2 houses here on Annandale. One is pretty much covered with vegetation, the other one does have a view, but that's the one that sent us the support letter. And then Crabtree Kill House is here. So from their terrace, actually, you have a straight shot.
And what's
they
the
care?
sound attenuation you're going to use?
Those are about 2-inch blankets. They get mounted on the inside of the fence around the enclosure.
Inside that bubble.
No, outside the bubble. The pads are over here. There are 2 pads that house the fans. And the middle pad is to actually store the dome in the summer.
So is that like a new fabric?
This is what they have been using. I'm hoping that we can use the darker color, because I think the light color is just really shining, especially in bare conditions. So, and I talked to the club as well as the potential supplier, and we think that the green actually blends in pretty nicely.
So all of them will be the same color?
Everything is, yeah, it will be all the same.
Okay.
So you'll be playing with Slavomir? I'm Slavomir's wife.
Well, funny you should mention that, because
He's my husband's tennis partner.
Nemesis. This is solely for the club. It's really not meant for tournaments or other, I mean, guests can be invited, but they have to be accompanied by the club member, and it's not gonna be for rent or just for general public.
Is this green the silhouette of what it's gonna
Yes,
look like?
And is it just for winter use? I missed,
yes, it basically has to go down within 180 days.
okay.
So it's gonna go out on the 15th of October or thereabouts, and then by April 15th it has to be down.
An existing, do they have an existing right now or?
They don't have a dome.
No, they don't.
There are no bubbles in Champa.
So when you said that they are using white fabric,
Well,
where-
I've been
Let's go to
through.
Armand
Where-
for
where do
Sasha.
they-
The supplier of the dome,
It's always been
I went
white.
around and looked at other
It's always
things.
been a light.
All of them are white,
Reflective.
but the problem is that it gets dirty, it kind of
yeah, it
fades.
looks bad,
I don't find it tremendously attractive.
yeah.
So how do we have confidence the light won't go through? Is
I
there
don't
light,
know.
is there a
It's always
lighting
been a light
consultant that's
issue.
been involved that the light won't penetrate and be
There's,
below?
there's no way the light can
Can
go
I see
through.
the sample?
Yes,
Just the black, just-
this is the translucent, and these are 2 solid pieces.
What does
So-
the entry look like?
It's sort of, it's a metal door with a fabric kind of enclosure that sticks out from the dome 4 feet, just,
Like an igloo kind of?
yeah.
But so do they want to use this or you're proposing that to? Or do you-
There have been debates. I think the club would go either with the light gray or the green.
Okay.
I think green would be the best choice, I
Yeah.
hope of blending in or
I
something.
think so too. There's slight price difference, but in the scheme of things, it doesn't really make a difference. And I
So
think,
one neighbor wants it, the other two,
I beg your pardon?
one neighbor is fine with it, the
Yeah.
other two are.
The other one didn't react to any of the notices, and one that is along the Bedford Road came twice and was concerned about the visuals and the noise.
One's big, they're big.
It's
I mean,
Well,
this is 2 tennis courts.
it's big,
I'm
but
very
it's,
familiar with
yeah,
tennis
yeah,
courts.
I'm sure. But if you're standing next to it, if you're 600 feet away,
There are many bubbles.
it doesn't. I promise you that.
I'm always a believer in having a forum with the people. I mean, I personally don't have objections with this if the community didn't. But But I don't know if our board wants to approve something knowing that there's a resident who
It just is,
isn't
it's
sitting
kind of
here,
in a
yeah.
residential area, that's the problem.
Sort of
If it
on
was
one,
in a
on
town.
one side, I mean, just kind of on this side, right? Or,
Well,
so
actually,
where's the neighbor that's complaining?
so this is 117.
Okay,
Taylor Road comes in,
right,
right, and then Annandale continues and wraps
Right.
around
right,
the site, and Taylor goes up the hill.
yep,
None of these people have any view of the site.
Right.
First of all, there's the clubhouse.
right,
There's a hill, a knoll. The property goes up and over.
right,
So when you're standing here, even if you go up
yeah.
on Taylor, you
It
can't
starts
see.
going downhill on Annandale,
And this
right?
goes down the hill.
Right.
Again, if you're down on here, there's
Yeah.
the
You
there's
can,
the
but
pro
it's hard,
shop
you know, you
for the
must
golf
need to
course.
float bubbles to
This
see
goes
what's
steeply
going on.
up,
You can't.
probably 30 feet in height elevation.
Right.
And this is basically behind the building.
Oh, okay,
Where you see it is here in the bend,
mm-hmm,
where the stream comes through.
right.
So on the road, you will see the corner and the
And which neighbor doesn't?
and the view. That's not that's this view.
Well, which neighbor is giving the?
There's no view there. I mean, there's no neighbor there.
No, which neighbor is still kind of,
Where are the two neighbors on the map that
Complaining.
are complaining?
there's only
Uh,
one complaint.
Well, they're not
so-
complaining, right?
One.
They are.
Well,
One is
they're
here,
concerned.
and that's it. There's only one.
Well, one you
But
haven't
you
heard
said
from
Kittle
yet.
House also.
Yeah, but we've been in front of the zoning board for 6 months.
Okay, and Kittle House, do they care?
No.
Did you, and is that the one you said you would plant some vegetation to?
So the vegetation is shown on S4.
That's very high.
They're not gonna go 40 feet, like poplar.
For some reason is not here.
Just trying to
You wanna
get
see
it.
it?
And go to side, not side, right. See the ones at the club pit. That's
So you can see here, actually, this is more of a detailed plan, that the grade slopes down towards the fairway. Okay, these light circles are all existing trees. There's some gaps in between. So we're proposing to add some evergreens to kind of cover the areas that are most visible. This corner specifically would be over here. This is actually rendered in white,
Okay.
because in green, in this picture, you really won't see it.
Yeah.
So this is standing down on Annandale,
Yeah.
looking across the fairway, across the stream, up the hill into this corner, and this is what you see.
So that's sort of a neighbor's view?
No, it's not
No, it's
neighbors,
not.
it's on the
But all,
street.
but all the
it's a street.
green is gonna disappear during the 6 months it's up, so you.
Well, then it
Well,
looks like
it's
the
gonna
one down
be in the
below.
winter.
Right,
Yeah,
well, that picture is not winter,
The one below.
the one,
Right there,
oh, it's the same image?
yeah.
Okay.
This tree is that tree.
and then will you be able to see it when people are driving on 117?
No.
Not at all.
No. First of all, the angle is such that you would never, I mean, you have to stop at the low point of 117 when you're crossing the,
After Petersville?
yeah,
the dip?
yeah, after Petersville, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. On the right-hand side, there's actually tall pine trees, and there's really no view shed of any sort to look through and see the dome. The pictures are here.
And so did you propose the vegetation for that one neighbor?
Well, it's the angle that offers some views from Annandale,
Yeah.
from this neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's the most
So
exposed.
well, I guess my point is, did you address the neighbors' concerns, the ones that showed up?
Yes, yeah,
By
absolutely.
planting, and your
Yes,
reaction was
correct,
to plant
correct.
those? Okay,
Yes, absolutely.
okay, and were they satisfied?
They did not respond. They went to 2 meetings. The last meeting they did not attend.
Okay.
So I didn't have a chance to hear. But this is actually one thing that I specifically focused on, because this is actually a view from that neighbor that was most concerned, and he is in direct line with the evergreens that are in the middle of the fairway. So he has, and that's why I was saying the 3 lines of vegetation at the edge of his property, between the club's property and his property, there's about maybe 60 feet of vegetation. In winter, it's bare, but there's still, trees. Then in the middle of the fairway, there's this row of evergreens that he's looking through. And this line is actually the profile of the dome. Okay? And then as you go up the hill,
Can I see that?
yeah. As you go up the hill, so the evergreens will be here, right? And then as you go up the hill, then you have another row right in front of the dome. It's probably better understood on the largest scale site plan.
And it's going to be up from when to when? From when is it going to be put up?
October 15 to April 15. Okay, so here we have an overall site plan, right? These 2 neighbors have partial view. Crabtree Kill House can look across the valley and will see it through the vegetation. This neighbor has vegetation over here, vegetation right along the stream, which you have seen the evergreens, and then all this up the hill, right in front of the dome.
And
And-
it'll stay open till late evening, or what are the hours?
10 a.m., 10 p.m. rather, 6 a.m. to
So
10
there
p.m.
will be light shining on the,
Well, it's dark at 4:30, so
Well, there's no light.
well, you have to have a walkway, so
Yeah,
there's
but the
there's
okay,
light
okay, so the walkway
outside.
is from the clubhouse, which is on the opposite side, and there'll be bollards. There's lighting, there's site lighting, obviously, but there is connection between the clubhouse. Let's say from the parking lot, you have a short walkway from the existing walkway up to the entrance, and then you have one light above the door as a safety.
And there's only one door?
There's
Probably a back door.
there's
Probably a
there's
couple
3
doors.
exits total. There has to be
There has to
emergency
be,
exits to the side, but there's one main entrance, which is used 99% of the time. The 2 are just emergency exits.
Right, so the planning board is looking for a referral from us, or what are they looking
The
for?
zoning board, they haven't been before the planning board, they're going
Yeah, we're going on
before the
17th.
zoning board on the 18th or 17th.
17, I think.
I still
Yeah,
think
so
that,
we need to make comments so that I can write a memo to the zoning board what your suggestions are.
I think you have the referral letter, right?
no,
No.
They don't share with you?
Kisco Country Club has made an application to the zoning board of appeals for an amendment to a special use permit, variance of building height, a development coverage variance, for the installation of temporary seasonal tennis court dome on property, The attached application being referred to you by the Newcastle Zoning Board of Appeals for report and comment. Please comment on the color choices of gray, white, and green, so we should comment on that. The referral will be scheduled at, so I just think personally, I don't object to doing it, it's a nice facility for the country club and all that stuff, but I think that it should be a caveat that, provided that the other boards who are having the conversations with the neighbors, that there's a sign off from the neighbors. And if there isn't, that there needs to be a conversation from Will Landscaping, which we're not really prepared to pick, because we don't know what the views look like. But I wouldn't wanna just approve it, and then some
No,
neighbor says, oh, would you approve,
I
you
don't
know?
feel comfortable.
Right.
I would
Well,
maybe go out to the site and look at it or something, but.
The view sheds and the impact, visual impact has been discussed through 3 meetings of the zoning board.
But we weren't there.
Granted, but our response to it was to prepare the landscape mitigation plan.
Okay, I think you've done a good job, I just think that, and I
Right.
don't want to object there, but
Right.
I think it's irresponsible of me or us to approve something because you said the neighbors are okay without, I
Well,
just,
I would approve it contingent upon just
not having any objectionable neighbors, and if
see,
there are.
no, just seeing if there was one neighbor, if his objections or her objections were satisfied.
Addressed
this.
and then how do they?
Well, I would
But we
just
can-
keep it
we
general,
can
I wouldn't identify one, I would just say
weigh
provided
on
there
the
are
colours.
Yeah.
neighbors that are objecting, and if there are neighbors objecting because of seeing it or something, that an appropriate landscape mitigation is there's a conversation, which we can go back into at that point if they wanna bring us.
Yeah.
But would that be the zoning board's
I don't know.
issue, I mean, charge to really
It is
address
related to the
address
zoning
these
board.
concerns, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we can mention these concerns to the zoning board and they can bring that up at the meeting.
Right.
So you just have to let me know what your concerns are so that when I write the memo, they can address them on the 17th.
I think the concerns are that there would be any neighbors objecting, because they see it, you know, because of the visual, you know, from their residents.
But besides that,
should pick a
with
color.
regard to the
Green?
colors,
Green.
Picking the
Green.
green.
okay.
And I think we should make the request, and then we'll trust him that he gets it right, that there isn't any light noise coming out through it. You're telling us that that's the case, we're trusting you, but I think we wanna go on record as saying that we're approving it subject to the material not letting light go
The
through.
sound travel has been studied and supplied to the zoning board in terms of the noise ordinance and complying not only with the town ordinance, but going beyond it, so that we make sure that there's no sound actually emanating
You wouldn't wanna hear a ball.
beyond the property
It,
line.
it amplifies. I've been in tons and tons of bubbles.
Did you live
my
next to
whole-
a bubble, or?
No, my child played national tennis all over the country. I know, and I grew up playing tennis. I know bubbles really well. Sounds really amplified. It's a different, you know, it's a different,
But it's interior noise.
I understand,
Right, right.
but there's always
Alright,
some
fine,
light. I
subject to
mean,
the, you know, well, just,
You know.
shouldn't we approve it subject to, they're the ones going through the exercise with you of light
Correct.
and noise. So we're just saying, we wanna make sure they get it right, we're concerned about it, we have no reason to disbelieve you. But our concerns are
As far
that the
as the
zoning board
aesthetics.
studies, yeah, I don't think we have any
Aesthetic
objections to
is
the
okay.
aesthetics.
Okay.
No, and plus it's reversible, it goes away half the year, so it's not like it's not a permanent structure.
I know, but half
But
a
it's a
year is that
permanent
long
6-month
time, and it's
structure.
during the
If
time
you're
when
that
there's
neighbor, you
nothing
wouldn't say
to
that.
hide it, you know?
But that's why it is there.
I don't know, I mean, he lives
No, I
next to a
understand.
country club, I mean, there's golfers and then there's fireworks every year and, you know,
Right.
people parking all along the street, I've parked there before, I'm sure that's disturbing, but,
Bubble just looks different. It's
Yeah.
just this plastic thing.
yeah.
I just think we should be looking out for the
I mean,
community.
we've never allowed it at any of the clubs. I was on the board of one of the clubs in town, and it's always
Swim
been a
clubs,
discussion, the swim clubs, and it's always been an
Is it
issue.
for a permanent bubble or just a
No, winter,
winter?
so winter coming.
Okay, so just.
It was
provided that
mainly
they do
light
the-
issues.
They,
The
they
neighbors.
carefully make sure that there isn't light or sound noise,
Mm-hmm.
and that any neighbors who object
They
are
get
allowed
addressed.
to get addressed.
I mean,
in
I
terms
know
of
how
lights
hard
and
it is to
mitigation.
get a court in the
That's
winter,
it.
it's really
Agreed,
impossible,
agreed.
but,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, the
You can show me
club's
some,
membership
email me some.
is actually becoming more
Tennis rather than.
not just golf,
Yeah.
but their family members, you know, the other person in the couple wants to play tennis, or you know,
Yeah.
so there's actually a draw, there's attraction to having year-round tennis.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
it's
No, we get that.
the
We
club
don't have-
serves,
we don't have
you know, a
that.
certain section of the population, and it's, you know, it's been there for 80 some odd years. And I think probably it's going to be there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, There's still no, I think we support it, it's just, you know, it's a big new object.
It's a
and
big
we,
object.
you know, yeah, so we
It's
just wanna be
down-
sensitive to
it's
neighborhood,
just-
that's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, no, I totally get it.
Swollen
So,
elephant.
well, we, okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Is that one yours?
This one's your mine, but this one stays, right? Oh, yeah. Better hold on to that. So I'm not playing tonight because I'm here.
Okay, yeah, he's going there at 9, I think.
All right, good night, thank you very much.
Good night.
Alright, I'm not gonna be here at the next meeting, so I'm gonna be away. Although, how many people are going away for December that might miss it?
Uh-oh.
We have enough
I
people?
mean, I'm around
Is it the 18th?
18th.
I'll be here the
I'm here on the 18th, I'm not going
I'm
until
here
after.
too.
Okay. Okay. thanks.
When does school end? The 20th?
This is really not a
Oh,
public
none of
school,
us have,
but,
you're the only one.
I'm not in the public.
I know there's like, they
Daycare.
have like.
Oh, daycare.
Vaccine.
Yes.
Does it go the 20th?
I don't remember.
I think it's the 21st, you know?
Okay, good.
Well, I have it, it's on the calendar.
It's 2 weeks, so it is the 21st.
And then when do we go back?
No,
On the
I'm just
6th
trying to
or-
find it so they can see it and then.
So then it was
stamp it.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
here,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the 20th is a holiday. Okay. I mean, school day.
So, a lot more balanced.
Alright, you're in
Okay,
business.
thank you.
And I went through all the drawings, including the window schedule, and coordinated, crossed out, this is W2, and went through all the sheets.
We appreciate working with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting us go and draw that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You have the two sets?
Two sets. So that's one and-
Yeah.
I did take the other one?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm never gonna eat before 7:30.
alright, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's the,
Quickly.
CRM.
Take care.
CRM.
Customer relations. Sales.
She has, like, when it's like